Ready for brand stories? Get inspired and learn from thought leaders, CEOs, business owners, managers, entrepreneurs, and experts who tell their brand stories and share their first-hand insights. Welcome to Brand Talk. I'm your host, Brigitte. I support entrepreneurs and organizations like you to become future market leaders by transforming their ambitions and passion into an online brand that radiates beauty, brilliance, and authenticity, attracting the clients and recognition they deserve. Let's get started and dive with me into the world of brands. My guest today is Jae Lex Linsey. Jae Lex Linsey, also called Jae, started his speaking journey at just 8 years of age and immediately fell in love with the craft of speaking. However, growing up, he still battled with his own demons of self-worth and imposter syndrome. Today, Jae empowers other professionals in the business to break through their own imposter syndrome and self-belief barriers to speak their brand with confidence, authority, and power. I warmly welcome Jae Lex Linsey. Welcome to Brand Talk.
Thank you, Brigitte. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm looking forward to sharing some thoughts with you.
Wonderful. I'm happy to have you here on my show today because we're talking about a very important topic. It's the imposter syndrome. And I went through the same thing. I can relate very well to what you're going to talk about today. And I would love to learn more about you. What made you, first of all, get out to the world with that topic? What is your purpose that came about through this, I would call it also pain that you're going through?
Yes, it's come from one of my biggest values in life is compassion and empathy. And the fact that I've actually been through and I'll be honest with you, I do still go through imposter syndrome at times, albeit I've learned techniques to identify it and to push through it. But I still have that demon rearing its ugly head at times. So just being truthful and honest, putting that out there. But yes, having been through it myself and seeing how it's had an adverse effect on my own progress in my career, my life, my business, I want to help other people to avoid the same things that I've had to go through and to get through their journey a lot smoother and to get to I wouldn't say get to their destination because everyone's got the same end destination. We're all going to end up in the same place down below, but to make people's lives smoother and to help them to get to their goals a lot easier and with greater effectivity.
Okay, so what was your personal breakthrough in overcoming your self-belief challenges and this imposter syndrome? So what was it that helped you? First of all, how did you recognize you have it and how did you go about that?
I think my real development has really only come over the past 3 or 4 years. I wanted to become a speaking coach 20 years ago. But at the time, I thought to myself, no one's going to choose me as their speaking coach. Why would anybody do it? I'm not good enough. And it's been an evolution for me. So I've had coaches who have helped me. I remember one coach in particular, and at the time I was actually doing web design and graphics and branding and stuff like that, brand design. And I remember she encouraged me to look at my portfolio and put my portfolio out onto Facebook. Facebook was more of a big thing back then than LinkedIn is now. Facebook was leading the way. It still is to a certain extent, but I do more of my business on LinkedIn now. But yeah, she encouraged me to put my portfolio out on Facebook, on my Facebook page. And I was looking through it and I thought to myself, actually, I'm pretty good at this. I'm pretty good. And I posted a comment on my Facebook profile at the request of an encouragement of my coach. I put my portfolio out on my Facebook page, and I've come to realize something. Damn, I'm good. I'm the Dr. Watsits at web design and branding. And she actually commented, "Amen, at last you've got the," and it was at that point a penny dropped, a light bulb switched on, and I realized that I'd been beating myself up too hard. And I think the other thing, which I'm going to talk about later on as we go through the conversation, is perfectionism. Perfectionism is very characteristic of people who have imposter syndrome, who have this condition of imposter syndrome. And I have had to recognize my own perfectionism and realize that perfectionism is unrealistic. It's inauthentic because nobody is perfect. The world is not perfect. So why are we striving to be perfect in an imperfect world? One of the lessons I learned from one of my clients, a lady called Catherine Labinjo, she's recently got married, and I can't remember her married name now, but her maiden name was Catherine Labinjo. She called herself the excellence coach. And I learned a lot about excellence, serving with excellence from her. And I came up with a great quote, a great saying that it's better to serve with excellence and strive for perfection, because you can serve with excellence. And excellence doesn't mean being all super duper. Basically, excellence is just giving of your best, doing what you can and giving of your best, recognizing that you are not perfect because nobody is perfect. But as long as you are professional and you are giving a good job to the best of your ability, that's all you can expect.
Yeah.
And that is my definition of serving with excellence, doing your utmost, going the extra mile, yes, but not to the point of being perfectionist, and recognizing and accepting when you've done a good job.
Yeah. I think you're bringing up a brilliant point, and this is perfectionism. I also have to remind myself I cannot be perfect, even though we are striving for. And I think we do that because we have this fear of being judged, the fear of judgment, putting ourselves out there if we are not perfect. And that ends up in procrastination, and you want to do that.
Mm.
It's not perfect yet. So, what else can I do in order to make it even better? And it's really striving for this excellence and for just giving our best at the very moment in time. And then also, I think when we do that, we allow this vulnerability, because that's when we connect with others. It's not when we are striving for being perfect and giving, providing the perfect service, which is, it's always in the eye of the beholder anyway. Yeah.
Mm.
But if we
Yes.
are giving our best, and then yeah, sometimes we are better, and in some days, and on other days we are not as good as we desire it to be, but at least we're giving our best. And there's this vulnerability that is coming in, because we're showing we're giving our best, but we're just human beings, and being open and just daring to putting ourselves out there and to serving. I think that is what counts. And
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
how we really.
absolutely right. And I like that daring to serve, because that's a key thing I found to breaking through imposter syndrome, is being willing to be vulnerable, be willing to, and shifting your focus from looking inward to looking outward at your client, the person or the people that you are serving. Shifting your focus to serving rather than being this all perfect person being that is faultless. And vulner- vulnerability is, I think that's a key thing. That is absolutely key. There's a great quote from Brene Brown. She talks a lot about vulnerability. If I can just find the quote, I did put it up earlier. Yeah. She says, vulnerability is the birthplace of love, belonging, joy, courage, empathy, and creativity. It is the source of hope, empathy, accountability, and authenticity. If we want greater clarity in our purpose or deeper and more meaningful spiritual lives, vulnerability is the path. I think, in essence, what she's saying is that you need to allow yourself to be vulnerable to achieve your greatest achievements. It's only when you are willing to, like you say, dare to put yourself out there and be vulnerable that you will actually start moving forward. And again, it's accepting the fact that you're imperfect, like everybody. There's nothing wrong with being vulnerable because there's nothing wrong with being imperfect because that's human.
Yeah, yeah. We are allowing ourselves to do so. That's the
Yeah.
first step, allowing ourselves to be vulnerable. We're running into failures, which are not failures because we are learning on the way and integrating that to becoming our best version going forward. So it's just allowing ourselves to be as we are, right? So, are there specific, let's say, some certain words that you're using? Any words that you find powerful to strengthen your self belief to banish imposter syndrome? Is there anything that we can do to reframe, to cultivate a positive mindset around this self doubt and imposter syndrome?
Yes, I'm glad you asked that question. That's a brilliant question. I love that. There, I could just talk for an hour or more on this subject because it is a favorite subject of mine. But yes, one of the two most powerful phrases in any no, two most powerful words in any language when coupled together are I am. I am is the creative phrase. It's if you go back to biblical times, it was the root meaning of God's name in the Bible. I am that I am. Because and it is you think of God as the creator, then we are all creators as well, because we are made in God's image. And so if you whatever you put after I am, you create, that becomes your reality. So if you put words like not good enough, unworthy, undeserving, a failure, useless, rubbish, whatever, you've created that reality and you take on that as part of your persona. Whereas if you shift that and flip it around and say something like, I am brilliant, I am excellent, I am awesome, I am epic, I am beautiful, I am loving, I am compassionate. That the more you say that, the more it becomes your reality, and you've created that reality. One of the exercises that I teach, and it's not something that I've invented myself. This is something I've learned from other coaches, and obviously I've added my own spin on it. But it's called mirror talking, and I talk about this in my workshops, in my talks. I do this as an exercise. Take an A4 sheet of paper, and you hold it landscape, or the green screen is not letting me do that properly. You hold it landscape a long ways, basically, and you write on there in big letters, I am, and then underneath it, a positive describing word. So it might be epic, awesome, fantastic, brilliant, successful, powerful. This is going to be your new reality. And then you place that by your mirror, but the mirror that you see every day, first thing in the morning and last thing at night. So when you brush your teeth, have a shave, take your makeup off, put your makeup on, etc., you see this. And the first thing you do every morning and the last thing you do every night is you read that back to yourself. In You do 3 sets of 3. A 3 is reading it 3 times, hitting a different word each time. So let's say, for instance, fantastic. I love that word, fantastic. Or let's say excellent. Let's say excellent. I like excellent. So I am excellent. I am excellent. I am excellent. That is one set. You do that 3 times. You do 3 sets of 3. So I am excellent. I am excellent. I am excellent. And you punch a different word on each repetition. If you do that for 21 days, every single day, first thing in the morning, last thing at night, I guarantee that by day 21, you will notice a difference in your self-belief. Continue to do that for a further 7, 14, 21 or more days. Make it your practice. And the more you do it, the more it will become your reality. So that's one thing. The other thing I would say is just basically watch your self-talk. Watch the words that you are telling, you are talk when you are describing yourself to others. Watch the words that you use to describe yourself. When you are thinking internally, watch your inner dialogue and correct yourself. Rather than saying, let's say you do make a mistake, rather than saying, "Oh, I'm so stupid," say, "That wasn't very clever. I can do better."
When it comes to this exercise, the mirror exercise, I am fantastic, for example. Are you using always the same word like fantastic or the same value? Or are you changing like every other day or weekly? How do you go about that?
I recommend, and the way I've learned it is to use the same word, at least for the period of 21 to 28 days, because you are anchoring that into your
Mhm.
unconscious mind the more you repeat it. And they say that you have to do something repeatedly for 21 days for it to become a habit. Let's say, for instance, fantastic, for instance, as you've used that one. If you are telling yourself you are fantastic for 21 days, by the 21st day, thinking of yourself as fantastic will become a habit. You can possibly, if you want to, let's say after a month, introduce another word. So let's say, for instance, powerful. I am powerful. And
Yeah.
you do that for another 21 to 28 days. You could do it like that. But the point is to have your word. That's your word that defines you. And another word that I particularly like is epic. The reason I like that is because I've turned it into an acronym. I love acronyms. And EPIC for me stands for excellent, powerful, intuitive, creative. So when I say I am epic, I am saying I'm excellent, powerful, intuitive, and creative.
Okay, good. Great. When it comes to your beliefs and the imposter syndrome, you started working on it and being more aware of it and doing your anchoring in your mirror exercise. How did that affect your business? How was your business before? And how was your business after you have started working on your self belief issues and on your imposter syndrome?
I'll be honest, my business is not where I want it to be just yet, but I'm getting there. I'm a lot further along than I was 3, 4 years ago, but I'm being found more and people are seeking me out because my persona has changed. My image has changed.
So it has something to do with your visibility.
Yes, because one of the things I've noticed within myself and I've noticed with others, when you have this imposter syndrome or you lack self-belief, you're less likely to put yourself out there. You will be constantly procrastinating because of the perfectionism, because of the superhero persona that you want to put forward, but you don't believe you can put forward. It's interesting that the Institute of the Imposter Syndrome Institute, I was surprised that there's actually something called the Imposter Syndrome Institute, but the Imposter Syndrome Institute has actually listed 5 different types of imposter syndrome. So the perfectionist is one of them. It's the expert, the soloist, the natural genius, and the superhuman. But there's a core factor in all of those different types is the fact that you don't feel good enough. You won't, it's never going to be good enough. So you're not going to be willing to put yourself out there, to dare to put yourself out there, as you said earlier, to show that vulnerability. And it's only once you show that vulnerability that you become, when you show a vulnerability, you start to endear people to yourself. You build that connection because they relate to you. You become more relatable and thus more believable. And when people start to believe you, they will start to seek you out. I actually had somebody who's been chasing me on LinkedIn recently in a positive way, not in a creepy way or anything, but no, she said to me that she saw a comment that I put on another speaker coach's post. And she made a comment, oh, fantastic. Another speaker coach I can follow. And she's connected with me. And my schedule is a bit upside down at the moment. But she said, as soon as your schedule is ready, I want to have a talk with you. So that's one example. I had two opportunities this year to actually judge on two different speaking competitions at two different universities. And that was all because I've been started putting myself out there and talking about my superpower, recognize my superpower and being proud of that. And I think that is a core thing, is recognizing that, yes, you are good enough. You do deserve the recognition. And so stop hiding your light under the bushel, so to speak.
How did that influence you in seeing yourself with like, now it increased your self-worth as being a personal brand out there? What did it do to your brain? And what did it help you with communicating yourself as a brand and putting yourself out there?
That's a great question. I love that one. I think it's helped me to take the next step in my evolution. And we are all, we, I like to think of ourselves as caterpillars turning into butterflies. I've actually changed my name legally three times. So J. Alexander Lindsay, or so J. Lex Linsey is my current name, and that's the name that I'm sitting with. That's me as the butterfly. So I was born as Jason Alexander Lindsay, and I noticed that on LinkedIn there's about five other Jason Lindsays. And I was like, I'm not having that. I'm unique. I need to make a statement of my uniqueness. I thought about JX, but I thought it's too quirky and people are going to laugh at that name. That was my imposter syndrome. So I changed it to J hyphen Alexander Lindsay. And that was me as the chrysalis. So Jason Lindsay was the caterpillar. I turned into a chrysalis or a pupa when I was J Alexander Lindsay. And then when I turned 50, on my 50th birthday, I decided to take on a new modality, a new motto, to sing like nobody's listening, dance like nobody's watching, and live like nobody cares. And that has become my persona. And I changed my name legally for the final time to Jae Lex Linsey, had the confidence and the balls, if you will, to put myself out there, to spread my wings as the butterfly that I am, and to make my transformation. And that's a word that I've adopted of late, is transformation, because I've made my own transformation, and my mission and my goal and my purpose now is to help others to affect their transformation, especially in the speaking arena, because speaking is crucial to your brand. Yeah, we all have nerves and fears, etc. And imposter syndrome can be one of the things that waters the seed of fear when it comes to speaking. But you need to be willing to put yourself out there, show your vulnerability, and push through the nerves. Speak with courage. Courage is not speaking or acting in the absence of fear. It's speaking and acting despite the fear, in spite of the fear. So have that courage. And this is one of the things that I help people with and talk to my clients about, is helping them to make that transformation and work through their fear and find that courage deep inside, because we all have it. We all have courage. It's just a case of sometimes we need somebody to guide us through the woods to find that courage. And that's basically what I do.
Yeah, so that brings us to the next question that I have is how do you help them? What kind of programs do you have? Is there anything that you're running right now people can sign up to as a transformational speakers coach so that you can really help your client unleash their true speaking potential?
Yes, I've got a number of tools that I can offer, and they are all, you can find them all on my LinkedIn profile in the featured section. The first thing is just book a one-to-one with me, a free one-to-one, 20-minute one-to-one. It's not a sales call. I'm not going to pitch you, and I don't expect you to pitch me either. But it's just to just find out where you're at in your speaking journey, give you some pointers. And if the fit is right, then we can move forward. If you feel you want to move forward, we can. Another free thing that I'm offering at the moment, which I am going to be putting a ticket price on eventually, but for now it's free, is I call it a speech analysis report. So the way it works is you send me a video of you practicing in front of the camera your talk, whether it's a talk that you're going to be doing at a in-person networking event or whether it's you're going to do it online, perhaps if it's your elevator pitch. You send me that video, I will analyze it, both myself and using a very good, very powerful AI tool. Couple those two together. The AI tool helps me to find additional things such as pick out your tonality and your count the number of pauses, etc., and the ums and ahs and things like that. But I will then put together a report, send you that report. If you then want a follow-up coaching call, I have an introductory price, and it is an introductory price of just £20. I know that's very cheap for coaching, but it's an introductory taster price. But it helps you to get some feedback and get a feel for whether or not my coaching is right for you without putting any financial risk. So completely risk free. The other free thing that I offer is it's a guided meditation, a pre-recorded guided meditation to help you to pull up that confidence. And then we go through an anchoring technique, which I call making your move, where you anchor that confidence to a movement. And we do that. I say to you, make your move, do that 3 times, make your move. And every time you make your move, you're anchoring that confidence into that movement. And if you practice that whilst you're in a calm, relaxed environment, when you do need it, let's say, for instance, you're about to step onto stage or stand up and speak, and you're feeling those butterflies in your tummy flying out of control. You're feeling the sweaty palms, the dry mouth, etc., weakening of the knees. You can make that move, whether it's clicking your fingers, punching in the air, clicking your heels together, whatever is your personal move. You make the move. And because you anchored it, it will bring up that confidence straight away. So that's you, but you can find all those resources in the featured section of my LinkedIn profile. Jae Lex Linsey. I'm the only one on LinkedIn. I've made sure of that.
Okay, wonderful. These are two awesome offers. And before we wrap it up, I have one more question to sum it up. What are some practical action steps entrepreneurs can take and incorporate into their daily routines? I think that is important to do that daily to build their confidence and believe in themselves and their brand as a speaker,
Yeah.
especially faced with setbacks and challenges. It's life. We are coming across those. What can we do? What are some practical action steps?
The first thing is I would go back to the mirror talking and the I am
Mhm.
exercise. That's something very practical you can do. Additionally, I would say practice mindful meditation with a focus on the positive aspects of your being, of your character. Bring those to the fore. Become mindful of the words that you are telling yourself and stop beating yourself up. Just because you make a mistake, or I don't like the word mistake. Never a mistake, always a lesson, because there's always a learning from that thing which you think of as a mistake. But when you do trip up, shall we say, rather than telling yourself, oh, I'm useless. Oh, I'm a numpty. Oh, I'm stupid. Stop that. That's beating yourself. That's being unkind to yourself. Start practicing some self-love, some self-compassion. And rather than, yeah, you may want to acknowledge the fact that you've tripped up, but do it in a kind, compassionate way. Identify that, yeah, that wasn't a very clever thing to do. That was that was something that I need to learn not to do again. How can I improve on that? And think about how you can improve. How can you avoid it in a positive way? And yeah, I think the self-love and the self-compassion are essential. One of the things I've said a few times to a lot of people, and I say it in my courses, is that how can you expect other people to believe you and to love you and to respect you and to trust you if you don't love yourself, if you don't believe yourself, if you don't trust yourself? So take that leap of faith in yourself. One great quote that I absolutely love, a Richard Branson quote, is, and this is something else I recommend you do, is take quotes, find positive quotes like this one, write them down. Don't print them out on paper or on a computer. Write them down in your own handwriting, because when you read them back, two things. First of all, the act of writing it down will help to anchor it. And then reading it back in your own handwriting will help to personalize it. Write phrases down, positive quotes down, and put them places where you're going to see them, and consciously read them. So the quote I want to share with you, and perhaps maybe to finish off, is a Richard Branson quote, two Richard Branson quotes. First is, screw it, let's do it. I love that one. Screw it, let's do it. But the other one is, when somebody gives you an opportunity and you don't think you can do it, say yes anyway and learn as you go along, because we are all a work in progress. Nobody is perfect. We are all vulnerable. We are all human beings. So allow yourself to be human.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much for those action steps everyone can take and action on it right away. Now, before we close, I would like to do a quick word wrap with you. Are you ready
Yeah,
for
sure.
terms that I threw out there at you to answer in a short sentence or in just a word? That would be awesome. The first word would be story.
Yes. So story, journey, the journey that you've been through, that you are on. Success is not the destination, it is the journey.
Okay. LinkedIn.
That's for me. That's my branding source, and it's a resource, a powerful resource, and an extension to your networking,
Wow. Self-worth.
your true self.
Transformation.
Again, your true self, your true potential, where you are heading, your destination is your transformation. That the butterfly that you are destined to become.
Good. And brands.
All of the above. Yeah, it's your brand is it's you, it's your journey, your values, everything that you stand for. It's your brand.
Okay. Wonderful. Yeah, Jae, thank you so much for being here on my show today. It was really a pleasure having you and learn from your personal experience of breaking free from the shackles of imposter syndrome. So to unleash your true speaking potential. Thank you so much, Jae.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. If you like my show, follow Brands Talk on your preferred app, share it on social media, and if you find a minute or two, leave a quick rating or review. Thank you so much. If you want me to guide you to become a future market leader by transforming your ambitions and passion into an online brand that radiates beauty, brilliance, and authenticity, attracting the clients and recognition you deserve, drop me an email. I'd love to be your guide on your hero journey. Check out my website, BridgetBrands.com. Connect with me on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I hope you will stay tuned in on the next episode when we dive into the world of brands.